Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Reporting. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to be looking at the Raiders Week 1 winners and losers against the New England Patriots. This is going to be a segment that I do every single Monday, and for those that do not know, I'm going to be live every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, here on the Raiders Report. I will say I will start with the offensive side of the football, and then I will go to the defensive side of the football. But if you're a real one, hey, man, hit that subscribe button, comment RO4L down below, because I know this. If you're hanging out with me on Thursday, if you're hanging out with me on Sunday for game day, and you're hanging out with me on a Monday, means you are an absolute real one. And to me, don't be a loser. Make sure you're subscribed to the Raiders Report. Shout out to everyone that also helped us get to 200,000 subs. It is a very, very humbling thing, and I can't tell you how much I love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. So let's go to our winners here on offense, and I'm going to go from 5, work my way down to 1 being the biggest winner. I got to show some love here to Tre Tucker. Like, to me, Tucker had the very first touchdown catch in this game for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he really, I think, set the tone early on, trying to stretch the field, had that early touchdown catch in the game, but overall, that 26-yarder, when you give Geno Smith the ability to throw the football down the field a little bit more, I think we were also just wanting to see Tucker take that next step, and we've been kind of waiting for Tucker to take that step. 2 catches, 54 yards, that touchdown again, and like, to me, the pre-snap motion, you got to be able to respect the speed. It's that third year. I am happy for Tre Tucker. He's also getting some punt return. He's also getting some kick return opportunities, so good stuff there from Tucker. Let's go to number 4 here for my Raiders winners on the offensive side of the football, and I'm going to show some love to Kolton Miller, because to me, if our offensive line is going to play the way that it did, and God, I hope I never see that offensive line performance again this entire season, we got to be able to show love to Miller. And to me, this is going to be an attack that wants to really throw the ball down the field. Chip Kelly showing you 9 passes completions of over 20 yards, the most in the NFL. That means you got to protect. Kolton Miller did a really solid job yesterday, by far the best Raiders offensive lineman, and protecting Geno's blind side is such a critical and important role this game. There might not be a lot of stats to back it up, but to me, Kolton Miller deserves to be on this list. Let's go to number 3 here for Raiders winners on offense. I'm going to show some love to Michael Mayer, because Mayer had his number called. And when you're the backup tight end on the Raiders and you know you're behind Brock Bowers, you might not know how many opportunities you're going to get. Mayer, once Bowers went down yesterday with a knee injury, he answered the call. And 4 catches, 38 yards, but to me, he blocked well. Running and pass blocking. Had a very clutch 4th down and 1 catch. I mean, I don't know if there was a bigger catch outside of the Dante Thornton 3rd and 20 catch that happened yesterday. But we heard a lot of the offseason, Chip Kelly wanting to use Michael Mayer a little bit more. And I think for Mayer, somebody that missed a lot of time last season, somebody that really hasn't been used the way that we've wanted to see Mayer get used, when he got his opportunities yesterday, he showed you that he is a capable tight end and a very good tight end. That is a big, big win for this Raiders offense. Let's go to number 2 here, and it's the other tight end. It's going to be Brock Bowers, the leading receiver for the Raiders yesterday. 5 catches, 103 yards on 8 targets, had a long of 38. And when you have a tight end that can run by you, that can go up and catch the ball, that can block, just do everything that he does, it's why he's the best tight end in the National Football League. He did leave the game early yesterday, still was able to put up those numbers with a minor knee injury. I talked about it earlier this morning on my Raiders Overreaction Monday video. I actually also made the announcement late last night. For those of you that are watching this live, I said I ended up getting a text from a source that said Brock's knee is okay. He expects to play Monday Night Football. He actually was trying to go out there and play. I saw that be reported. I believe that was reported by Ian Rappaport. But I was told yesterday, and I said this on the live, that essentially I was told because of the field conditions, because of the game, the Raiders felt like they had it in check, and they didn't want to risk further injury. But Bowers was trying to go out there. He was trying to play through it. But to me, Bowers is healthy, and Bowers looks very good. That makes him a winner on today's show. But to me, the biggest winner on the offensive side of the football yesterday had to be Geno Smith. And his ability to throw the ball down the field, he's second in the NFL right now in passing yards, first in the NFL in explosive throw right down the field. His offensive line was good. The running game was not good at all. He was still able to throw for 362 yards, a touchdown, did have the pick, but it's how he bounced back after the interception. Throws a bad interception, 3 and out, Now we're down 10-7 at halftime, and you're sitting there, you're going, oh my God, is this really going to be how this year goes? Geno didn't doubt himself. He was able to bounce back, and he even said this after the win against New England. I'm me. That's all that I think about. I don't think about anything else. I'm me. I know who I am. I know what I can do. Mistakes happen. Things happen within the game. There was a tip pass. I made the right read. Could have made a better throw. Not going to hang my head. I'm going to keep going. I just know who I am. I know what I can do on that field, so I never worry. To me, that is a winner's mentality. And let's face it, life's going to throw you curveballs. On the football field, life in general, you're going to get dealt curveballs. Life's going to throw you lemons. But shout out to the movie, one of my favorite of all time. When life throws you lemons, some people say F the lemons and bail. Geno Smith, he's going to make some lemonade out of it. And I'll tell you what, tastes pretty sweet to me. So I want to know down below, it's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Who was the Raiders' biggest winner against the Patriots? Was it somebody on offense? Was it somebody on defense? I want to know from you. My answer coming up here after this YouTube ad break. To me, the biggest winner in the Raiders' Week 1 game, it has to be Geno Smith. I think you also got to be able to show love to Pete Carroll for being able to make the proper adjustments. For the first time in a long time, the Raiders have a quarterback, the Raiders have a head coach that give us an opportunity to win every single game. When you have that combination and you're able to go with that combination, you win football games and you could be a playoff caliber team in the National Football League. Let's now go to the losers on the offensive side of the football. I am going to put Ashton Jeanty on this list, and I'm not really going to put Jeanty in terms of the way he played. I put Jeanty on this list as an offensive loser because of the way the offensive line played. And I know for a fact there's going to be a lot of people chirping about Jeanty's game. I've already seen it. I've seen, oh my God, Raiders, Jeanty averaged 2.0 yards per carry. With all due respect, if you're sitting there going, Ashton Jeanty, 2.0 yards per carry, Geno Smith double birds to you. And it's just because you didn't watch the game. Though there should be some concern for this organization that drafted a running back at number 6 overall. The only way that it makes sense to draft a running back at number 6 overall is if you have an offensive line that can block for him. Let's prove that we have an offensive line that can block for him, which, coming in here at number 2, is going to be DJ Glaze. And I just expect more out of Glaze moving forward. He was one of the lowest graded Raiders offensive linemen from this past week. I believe I saw he had a 48 overall PFF grade, and I knew the right side of the offensive line was getting cooked. And that's where, New England is going to go, and that's where all these other defensive coordinators, they're going to go. They're not going to go after Kolton Miller. They're going to go after DJ Glaze, JPJ, Jordan Meredith, and realistically Dylan Parham. And that's what they did over and over and over again. But realistically, the biggest, and I mean the biggest loser on the offensive side of the football, there's only one answer here, and I'm just going to say the entire interior offensive line. Dylan Parham, I'm looking at you. Jordan Meredith, I'm looking at you. Jackson Powers-Johnson, I am definitely looking at you. And I say that because, I have been pounding on the table that JPJ should play center. And maybe he's a better center than he is a right guard, but I went back and I watched the tape yesterday, and I couldn't believe how bad JPJ was yesterday. I want to be very, very clear on that. I actually don't know if it would have been better to put him at center. There were times where I thought Jordan Meredith did an okay job. There were times where Parham got beat. But the biggest, weakest link on that Raiders offensive line yesterday, it was Jackson Powers-Johnson. And it's just the truth. I still want to go back and I want to be able to watch even more tape because when you watch just the amount of tape that I watched yesterday, you still really only see certain parts. The next thing I want to be able to watch is, how many times New England is literally scheming to go after Glaze and JPJ. What are the plays that are happening? But I was very disappointed. And I mean a very disappointed Raiders fan in the way that interior offensive line ended up playing from top to bottom. It was really, really, really disturbing to see how bad it was. Coming up next here on the show, we will get into the Raiders winners and losers on the defensive side of the football. Before we do, though, today's show sponsor is PrizePicks, and you can get $50 when you play 5 over with our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day. But on PrizePicks, being right, it can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win a bunch of money, actually 2,000 times your money. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and I absolutely love them. If you want to know, and I will show you, PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Now, if you want to see the lineup that I did, this was a flex play lineup. This was 20 to win, 364. Luckily, I was able to turn that 20 into 40 because of the flex play. And overall, I think personally that PrizePicks is a lot of fun overall. Let's now go to the Raiders winners on the defensive side of the football. To me, I got to show love to Jamal Adams. I was not excited when the Raiders went out and they got Adams originally, but he is making me eat my words, and I'm starting to get full. He had a 90.9 PFF grade yesterday and played a total of 25 snaps. He dropped back into coverage about 13 of those times, but when he was up near the line of scrimmage, you felt his physicality. When he dropped back, he did exactly what you were supposed to do. And overall, that's not Jamal Adams, so don't show it. So, to me, I was impressed by what Adams did. And he's out there. He's flying all around that football. And to me, he's really doing a good job setting the tone. And when you have that ability to really, truly set the tone on defense with players that maybe you didn't anticipate getting a lot out of them, when you lose Elandon Roberts, shout out to Jamal Adams. To me, he's got to be somebody that you mentioned. Let's go to number 4 here. And even though he cost me my PrizePicks lineup, Maxx Crosby is going to come in here at number 4. He had a nice sack earlier in the game. Again, he's somebody that just wrecks havoc, doesn't take really any plays off. 71 total snaps. That was tied for the most out of any player yesterday. Crosby, Chin, Devin White, Isaiah Pola-Mao, Kyu Blu Kelly, and Eric Stokes were the only players to play 71 snaps, and he had 2 tackles. He had a tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, the sack that I mentioned. But what Max does is he just opens up so many other avenues for so many other players, and I think what you saw yesterday in that Raiders-Patriots game was New England kind of tried to take Max out of the game. They were doubling him a lot. They were chipping him a lot. They were basically saying, somebody else on that Raiders offensive line has to beat me besides number 98. And because that happened, it did. It freed up more opportunities where the Raiders in total had 4 sacks yesterday. Tyree Wilson had 1. John Ulalu had 1. Malcolm Kuntz had 1. And it was Maxx Crosby, I think, just showcasing his special ability in the run game and in the passing game. To me, he's got to be a winner. Let's go to number 3 here on the list, and it's going to be Devin White. He led the team in tackles yesterday, but he was so good, man, in the running game. He was so reliable. If you ran near him, he was wrapping you up, and he was putting your ass on the ground. And I know when Elandon Roberts went down, one of my concerns was, how does this team look, especially in terms of stopping the run? I knew Pete Carroll and Mike Vrabel were going to have a buckle your chin strap type of game, but for White to make 11 tackles, to have a tackle for loss, he just showed me so much of that athletic ability that you want to see from your guy in terms of just him getting north and south, and he did a really solid job, a 67.3 overall PFF grade. But what I want to see out of Devin White, the tackling ability and getting after the quarterback. And I thought that he was able to do all of those things yesterday. Let's go to number 2 here for my Raiders winners on the defensive side of the football. I'm going to go with Isaiah Pola-Mao at free safety. And to me, he had a nice interception. There were times earlier in the game where I was like, I want to see it be a little bit more, but he made some clutch tackles, a big interception there, really did a much better job flying all around the football field in the second half. 66.1 PFF grade, played a total of 71 snaps, but I think it was the leadership that he really showed in that second half and the ability to use him all over the football field. It confused New England from time to time. 5 solo tackles, the interception, a PBU, The Isaiah Pola-Mao that you saw in the second half is the Isaiah that you need to see more of, and I'm hoping that we continuously get to see more of it moving forward. But to me, the number one winner from yesterday's game on defense, I want to give a loud shout out to number 36, Kyu Blu Kelly. And let's just be honest, transparent, if you will. The pass interference call that was against Kyu Blu is just an absolute joke, man. If you're a young corner, the play that Kyu Blu got called for pass interference, I actually think that you should watch that play because I actually think it is textbook of what you were supposed to do as a corner. You're supposed to get your head turned around. You're supposed to fight for the football. He even hits the football before the receiver does it and got called on PI. I think one of the biggest question marks that we had on this defense was, how are our cornerbacks going to hold up? How is our secondary going to hold up? Kyu Blu Kelly was the best Raiders corner in that game yesterday. He was better than Eric Stokes. He was definitely better than Darnay Holmes. But to me, he showed you that he could handle the job. First start ever for the Las Vegas native, and I really do think that Kyu Blu Kelly, he might not have been the true best player overall, but in terms of the biggest winner, personal winner for the Raiders yesterday on defense, I think it's got to be Kyu Blu Kelly. Though, there is somebody else that I think deserves their flowers. And if y'all haven't seen, my guy Lonnie Johnson Jr., he's on the IR, and his wife took a picture of him yesterday watching the game at home. And if you want to see some hilarious videos, I don't remember what Lonnie's wife's Instagram is, but, I was on Instagram, I was on Twitter late last night, and she's posting videos of him. It's basically when your husband's on IR but still wants to play. That's Raider mentality. That is the true, I want to be out there on the field with my guys. I want to go to war with my guys. And yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. It's a joking thing. But at the same time, I believe it. And at the same time, Lonnie Johnson has said how bad he wants to be a Raider. And to me, when you see this type of shit, it just really stems to, we got a good locker room. We got the right guys. They're buying into what you're selling. Lonnie Johnson Jr., as far as I'm concerned, deserves to be a winner. I saw Seth Milbourne said, where's Tyree Wilson? Tyree Wilson was also a winner. He just wasn't in my top 5. Coming up next here, though, on the show, Raiders losers on the defensive side of the football. And this was a lot more difficult to be able to find, and I'm happy that I struggled finding 3 losers against the New England Patriots in Week 1 action. Before I get into my losers, let's talk about the MVPs. Raider Ron was the MVP yesterday, ended up hitting the gong twice. He's just the craziest of all mother effers. There's a reason why I got RR tatted on my leg. There's a reason why this show is as crazy as what it is, and it's because of all the legendary people that show up and pull up every single Raiders game day. Raider Ron, you were the MVP. I believe I have a few Raider Ron jerseys, so I'll be rocking another one next week on Monday Night Football. But I also want to show some love to people that finished in the top 10 of XP, because I'm live here on Monday because of all the effort. Everyone here always shows up on Thursdays, on Tuesdays, on Raiders game days. And I want to be able to provide even more content to Raider Nation. And I want y'all to look me dead in the eyes. If you guys keep bringing commitment to excellence every single day, I'm going to bring commitment to excellence every single day. You're going to get more live content. You're going to get more Raiders Report videos this season than you have ever had in your entire life. Why? Because of the dedication and the commitment to excellence that y'all show me. So from the bottom of my heart, Wild One, Venthrak, Alex McGuire, the Soup Daddy. I mean, we had so many people. A-Train showing love today. You guys keep bringing the energy. We're going to keep bringing the content. That's why you should hit that subscribe button. Let's now go to the losers, though, on defense. This was tough for me. And I actually I hated having to put the players on here that I did. I am going to put Eric Stokes on here because when I went back and I watched the film, if I'm comparing Stokes and Kyu Blu Kelly, Eric Stokes was the worst corner. Now, he had the tougher assignment. He was on Stephon Diggs. But to me, Diggs at times did look a little bit slow. I'm hoping that, Stokes can get a little bit more of that physicality, get a little bit more of that confidence, a little bit more of that swagger overall. I actually don't know what he did on defense, PFF-wise. They gave him a 48.3, so I guess that kind of backs up with some of the stuff that I saw. But overall, I am going to put Eric Stokes on here because if I'm going to do this segment, I just got to be honest, and to me, Stokes was a loser. Number 2 is going to be Elandon Roberts for the simple fact, and the simple fact only, that he had to leave the game early with that sprained elbow. Still don't know the exact severity of that injury, and I'm hoping that we're able to get a little bit more information on it. But I think the other reason why you have to consider Elandon Roberts a loser, it's not really anything that Roberts did. I thought in the opportunities that he was given yesterday and the limited opportunities, I thought he was okay. To me, he's a run stopper and a run stopper only. The problem for Roberts was Jamal Adams was really good. Devin White, really good. Jermaine Pratt, really good. So I almost wonder if you're the Raiders, you go back and you watch the tape and you're like, our defense was better yesterday when Elandon Roberts was not on the field. Not saying that you take him off the field, but that's a true statement. The second half adjustments, this was a better defense when Elandon Roberts was not on the field. Let's go, though, to the biggest loser, and when you really sit back and you watch the tape, I actually don't even think it's close. It's Darnay Holmes. We got to be able to figure something out with our nickel corner position, and hopefully when Lonnie Johnson comes back, we're kind of maybe able to move around some of our safeties to play up near the nickel. But 26 total snaps. He was getting picked on left and right, and it's kind of a frustrating situation because I don't really think anybody is surprised that Darnay Holmes was probably my biggest loser, and I think it's just funny. When you watch tape and then in the lines with PFF, it does make a lot more sense. He had a 35.2 overall grade and a 30.1 in coverage. That's just not going to get it done. To me, those are the biggest losers, though, on defense. And since this is a winners and losers segment, I want to know from all of y'all, be honest with me, who was the Raiders' biggest loser versus the New England Patriots? If it's too difficult to identify one name, I will give everybody the simplest of simple cop-outs with this after this YouTube ad break. Interior offensive line. Everybody on the O-line, not named Kolton Miller, are all acceptable answers for me if you do really look at the Raiders' winners and losers. I could also say Josh McDaniels. I could also say Mike Vrabel. Cry about it a little bit more from my guy Maxx Crosby. For those that do not know, the rest of our live show programming for this entire week, I am actually going to be live tonight. Monday Night Football, crazy Monday for me. Mondays are going to be 16-hour days, and I hope that you pull up with me for the entire Monday. We will go live about, I think this is an hour, maybe an hour and 20 before kickoff. Monday Night Football. Make sure there. We got a hell of a game tonight. J.J. McCarthy up against Caleb Williams. Minnesota Vikings against the Bears. Little NFC North action. Then on Tuesday, I will be live. This is Let's Punish the Patriot Fan Day. This is going to be a lot of fun. And then you already know, Thursday Night Football, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Though, yeah, I think that's right. That's when we go live. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific here on the Raiders Report. Subscribe, turn on your noties, be ready to hang out with me all week long during the season because we're going to be hanging out a lot more as long as that's all right with y'all.